Assalamu alaikum, guys. This is Ali Bakir Khan with another podcast of Youth Alumni Association. Today, we have a pleasure of having Saima Nazir here with us. First of all, thank you so much for joining in, Saima. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me over, Ali Bakir, and I'm very good, Alhamdulillah.
All right, that is really good to know. So, guys, I would like to give a little bit of background on what Saima has been doing in the past, and then we'll continue with our podcast. If you guys have seen, that's really good. You get to know more about a person who's enthusiastic and communications expert. She's a communications expert. Apart from that, a master trainer, because she has been a trainer at the resource group as the corporate trainer, which really is a good thing because training is something that's not a piece of cake, to be very honest. And especially to the youth out there, you guys would get to know more from her that how she landed to where she is right now. And the last thing is educational leader. I mean, since you guys know that we guys are working on career counseling and entrepreneurship, so having an educational leader who has that sort of experience is really, really good for us and the youth, to get to know her perspective of how we can, uh, you know, create more and more entrepreneurs. Apart from that, I would just love to give a little bit of introduction regarding her that she's a career counselor at Beacon House School Systems. And apart from that, I think she's completing her MPhil from LUMS, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And one of the best part about your profile and your professional journey was I saw that you've completed a certification which says train the trainer, which is a kind of really good and a unique thing, I guess. And I would love to know how can you possibly train the trainer? I mean, the subject caption was really good. So, Saima, you can go ahead and if you can throw a little bit of light about your career journey when you were a little child. क्या होता था किस तरह स्कूल जाए गए और what your
Yeah.
parents were like.
Mhm.
We'd love to know more
Yeah.
about what your career journey was like. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for the question, Ali. And yeah, I would like to begin from where I started as a child because I think I would give most of the credit to how I was raised for all that I'm able to achieve so far. What little I could do is absolutely because of the way I was raised, I would say. So, Alhamdulillah, I was born in a family where like I'm a single daughter with two brothers, and I was raised in a manner where I was not just provided all the material things and the luxuries of life, but I was also given the freedom to express myself. And I think that's very, very important, especially when you're raising a daughter, a girl child. So the credit goes to my father, and he raised his sons in a manner as well, where till now, even when he's left us, he's no more with us.
Sorry to hear
So
about that.
even now, my brothers have been the biggest support through whatever I had to go through later in life as well. So yeah, my education has been from Pakistan, from Lahore, although I've been moving between Qatar, Doha, and like Lahore because my father lived there. And that traveling also made a little quite an impact in my early years in my when I was raised, when I was growing up. My schooling had a lot to do with it. My teachers, they were amazing. And then this freedom of studying what I wanted to. So I was this very multi-potentialite kind of a student who would be equally interested in academics, dramatics and debates and arts and maths and languages. So it was like a very big canvas. However, I remember when I got into my college, there was just one thing that my father really wanted me to do, and that was he wanted me to study economics. So I was naturally inclined towards math and statistics because I found numbers easy. I know it sounds weird to a lot of people, but I would find numbers really easy. I was like, there's no work in it. You just have to understand the concept, apply, and there you go. But he told me to study economics, whereas I was interested in the fine arts and literature as well.
Okay.
Hence, he said, I have to study math, stats, economics. I was happily doing it, but he supported me and gave me that opportunity where I was learning art, as in practicing art, with Saeed Akhtar, who was the head of the Department of NCA Fine Arts,
Okay.
privately. So this came in very handy when I started working as a counselor as well. And I could identify students who were passionate about one thing, but had the ability to do something else as well that would benefit them in their career prospects. So this is how I would design their life as well. So, and then later on, as you see, I was able to do some certifications. So teaching came naturally to me, I would say, because I'm like just so passionate about teaching that right after my graduation, I kind of started working in a school as a communication teacher, as a language and a maths, and majorly school management. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's an amazing journey. But I mean, when we are talking about, your childhood journey specifically, I'd love you to tell me about some hurdles that you might have faced as well. Like, I do understand that your parents were supportive, which is a plus, but I mean, still there are hurdles. There is that nervousness. Okay, if I go for maths, what's gonna happen? Or was there any
Yeah.
counselor at that time, like apart from your father, any mentor?
No.
How did you make it to who you are today? Because you're one of those examples of self-made women. And as you just
Yeah.
as you mentioned about freedom of speech, right? जिसको उर्दू में कहते हैं जी लोग क्या कहेंगे, and we guys are very we guys take it really seriously. So how
Yeah.
did you break that stereotype? That's one in your childhood days, and
Hmm.
what were the hurdles specifically? I mean, if you talk about your journey specifically.
As a child, I would say, Ali, I was comparatively luckier and fortunate because I understand there's a patch of hardships and struggles in everybody's life, but that came later in my life. So as a child, till the time my father was alive, before I got married, everything was all sweet and nice and beautiful.
Okay. All right.
So, and yes, because you see, there's a thing, and I think a lot of people would benefit from it. So it's not that you tell your girls how to grow up or how to behave a certain manner or something. It
Hmm.
has more to do how you raise with your boys. So my brothers were raised in a manner where they could give that same space, same freedom,
Hmm.
same opportunity, and let them enjoy the same opportunities that would come my way. So that's why I give a lot of credit to the men in my life, like my brother and my father. But yes, I did have hurdles. I know there was nothing that could help me decide what subjects should I be studying, what line of, what field should I be choosing. But as I told you, I follow my passion. I think I just followed my passion, other than having studied economics, which later I realized that is a subject which is beneficial. And I think almost everyone should just go through the books and understand what the concepts are, because they come in really handy and they give a lot of insight and they broaden your vision as to even live in the society, even if you're not graduating in it. So yes, my father kind of just helped me there.
Hmm.
And then I got my graduation done. And then I got into education as in started teaching. So it's again very interesting. I started off as a math and art teacher. So I was
Oh,
teaching
wow.
math and
Wow.
art together. And the students in my math class would say, "Ma'am, you ought to be our language teacher." And then,
Oh,
so
that's
I was
great. So
doing
you had
art
the
and math.
communication aspect, and then by
Yeah.
intellect, you were good
But
in
because
maths
I
as
was
well.
doing dramatics alongside and I was doing public speaking alongside, I was running those clubs for the students. So this passion and this interest had always been there. I continued. So every time, some time would pass in a school and I was given this opportunity of working in the management. And this is how I decided my master's degree. So Ali, you must have seen, like even now, a lot of people kind of complete their degree in a certain field and then start working in there. With me, it was the other way around. So I graduated, I started working, and I realized my potential to grow and excel was in management. So really late in my life, I thought that this is the degree that I wanted to do. So I did my master's in business administration with the majors in human resource. And because I was into training, I loved guiding and counseling teachers, because when you're a team lead, you're expected to be there as, even if not as a coach, then as an inspiration where people would come and learn from you, and happily that too. So I kind of, anytime I would have sometime on myself, I'd enroll myself in some certification, which is valuable, which is adding to my profile as well. And I
Okay.
happened to work with BMW North America, where I started off
That's
as
great.
an editor because of my language skills, but because of my training skills, I moved up as a trainer and trained people in Lahore, in Karachi for them. And
Hmm.
hence, when I had this opportunity of getting this certification done from the University of Cambridge, I did that, and which is called the Master Trainer, which is called Training the Trainers.
Yeah, so
So
what
I
is
kind
that
of,
about? Sorry, I'm cutting you here.
yeah,
So train the trainer is
no
something that was
problem.
really catchy and from University of
So yeah,
Cambridge, obviously everyone knows about it. What was the
so
name?
yeah.
I mean, at the start, like since I'm thinking about train the trainer, so something comes into my mind, like as an ordinary guy who I've been a trainer myself, but still, like, what was the certification about, and what did you get out of it, basically?
Okay, so this was a certification spread over 3 days. And I remember I did it during my Eid holidays because it was planned then, and I didn't, the trainer was over in
Okay.
Lahore, and I joined it. And I would go spend a lot of money and time during the Eid to get this done. So this was basically not about how you go as a trainer and conduct a session.
Yeah.
It was about training people who are interested to develop a plan and to implement it, and
Hmm.
how to give the feedback. So it was like, after this training, I was equipped to not just go and do it myself, but also help people equip with those skills and those lessons and those tips and tricks, whatever you might want to call them, but make them equipped and skilled, for they should be able to go and work as a trainer as well. So this is the expertise then. Alhamdulillah.
All right, that's really good to know. Now, coming, about the journey that you did pursue, having a great passion for math stats, and you were good at it, right? And then landing into something that was a little bit different, as expected. For example, if you're good at maths or stats, you might just go for some finance related job, or maybe accounting or something like that, right? But you were a career counselor at Beacon House, and apart from that, you were a corporate trainer at TRG, that's the resource group, because I've been working in DRG myself, so I know it's like a
Okay,
huge,
okay.
huge, like Ziad Chishti
Yeah,
Saab, like when he inaugurated it,
yeah,
it was
that's right.
still Affinity. They're working on AI and a lot of different projects, and they've given resources in Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad to, I think,
Yeah,
almost 10,000 plus people out there. So that is one point in which I consider that a guy, if one single guy can bring legal PCI compliance and these kind of things in a country, a lot of people might get help out of it, right? So what was it exactly that? I mean, was it passion towards your country? Was it passion towards the educational side as your mission?
yeah,
I was reading your mission, in which I've written down here as well, that you provide coaching to enable the future people to feel themselves empowered, basically the youth and all those
yeah,
guys. So
that's right.
I really like the mission because this is really close to my heart as well. So can you please
Hmm.
throw some light
Yeah,
about your professional journey now? Like, because okay, you're done with
I would.
studies, and now how? Because it's a big venue. It's like a big stadium. There are lots of different, you could say, cities, different countries. You can go here, you can go there. Uh, why a career counselor in the end, and what was your passion behind educational journey?
Right. So yeah, you're right. So why I got back into education is exactly what you mentioned, and this was purely passion. So
Okay.
when you see, Ali, we were talking about those hurdles in life. So when I had this rough patch in my life where I couldn't do as well, as people would expect in a marriage relationship, I had a son, Alhamdulillah. He's also studying now, mashallah, at Cadet College Hassan Abdal.
Nice.
So this is how I got back into education. So the one thing that gave me the strength of recollecting myself and making a mark, creating something, peace, you may call it, a living, you may call it, but something that would give me that satisfaction of having contributed in a positive manner was education. So I would seriously like to stress on this fact here, and I hope this message goes across the globe, that there's nothing that can be gifted or given or provided to a child which is better than education, that can be used as a tool, weapon, skill in their life to create something peaceful, satisfying and happy, that can help them create happiness and some achievement for them. This is what I felt, and that's why I chose to come back into education. And you said that you've heard about what I've completed as in my education, but that's the thing, I haven't. I'm still studying. I'm still doing my MPhil from LUMS. As soon as I found out that they're running this degree, they've started the School of Education, and they offer this master MPhil in education leadership and management. I thought it's just for me, and I had to enroll in it. So yes, majorly my career spans around almost 15 years or so, and most of the time was spent in managing people, like branches, setting up systems, one school or the other school, creating teams, leading them, training them, and as at the same time counseling not just students but also parents. So this comes in really, again, this is very close to me, because you know how I could come out of that the dark phase in my life, because I could see well. I had a vision. I could dream something for myself. And unless you don't have that vision, and unless you're not able to know the purpose of your life, and you cannot dream and you cannot convert that dream into a plan, you cannot really land anywhere. Hence, counseling comes, again, it's very close to me. If you're in the field of education, counseling, you have to be a counselor. You have to be someone who not just guides someone towards their goals, but also acts and works as a mentor and walks with them, throughout their journey till the time they reach there, or till the time they're enabled to take up their journey from there on. So hence counseling. So I was, and as a mother, again, I would say, so all these decisions in my life have a lot to do with what phase of life my only son was going through as well. So I knew that before he would be enrolled for his HIFs, I had to get done with my master's, which was MBA, and I did that. So during the time he was completing his HIFs, because again, an 8-year-old cannot decide what project they have to take up. So this message, I think, is very close to all the parents who might be able to, listen and hear our talk today. I think parents are an equal stakeholder in the education decisions of their children. They cannot just say that I've told you to do this, I'm providing the fee, and hence the rest is all your job. You can't do that. I don't think it's just fair to do this for our children. When I thought that my son has to do HIFs, I made myself physically, emotionally, of course, financially, and, to be there. So anytime he would find it hard, I could not leave it up there for him. I made myself available. We kind of completed that journey together. And mashallah, when he got done, I even had to move to a different job because I thought I could not give enough time to the management job that I was doing. My son needed me more at that time. So I spent that time with him, homeschooled him, prepared him for Hassan Abdal. He's there, and I'm also busy learning. So I'm also doing this degree. And at the same time, I'm also helping the students at the A-level campus with their, educational journeys ahead, inshallah. So that's how it
that is an
kind of
amazing, you could call it a success story, because whatever you're doing is actually good, and helping parents and students at the same time is good. We're going to come towards, like, at the end, regarding the advice that you would want to give the parents, because you've got that experience.
Yeah.
But I'd like to add on a verse here of Sir Allama Iqbal, obviously, because I think if you read his poetry, Shikwa Jawab Shikwa, or whatever, Lab Pe Aati Hai Dua and all those things, my father tells me that during his school it was a mandatory thing to read it out, basically. And now we guys are forgetting our values, through which we became a nation, unity, faith, discipline of the leader Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So the reason of actually adding this is so that people who are listening to me, they also get to know whether, what their language is. Like, Urdu is also a language, right? If you know how to become a good debater in Urdu, it does not necessarily mean that if you cannot communicate very much effectively in English, that आप पीछे नहीं है. You can still be, as आपने एक बड़ी अच्छी बात की आप ही की प्रोफाइल से, time is a resource that cannot be saved or reserved to be used later. So use it wisely and don't spoil yourself by getting into every field. I mean, it's not a rat race, basically. That's what you wrote. That's what I remember. तो इकबाल कहते हैं जी, मंजिल से आगे बढ़कर मंजिल तलाश कर, मिल जाए तुझको दरिया तो समंदर तलाश कर.
Exactly.
I mean, to be very honest, I just like searched it out and I was reading it while because I live in Kent, Lahore. So I was just going, across the street on the wall. It was actually painted there. Uh, and I felt something. I felt ambition. I felt that, just one verse, if you focus on it, it says a lot.
Yeah,
So at times you don't have
exactly.
to debate and exaggerate problems like, in media. It's always happening. I was researching today and I was going through a blog of a very good guy, and he was telling that we're always busy discussing gold and what's the rate of dollar and what is going on in the
Mhm.
economy, but nobody is actually thinking different or thinking about what our values are or what are we supposed to do. If you're a good investor and if you've made money in your life by investing into real estate, you haven't done anything good to the country besides you, right? So there are
Definitely.
different goals. So वो जब कहते हैं ना कि मिल जाए तुझको दरिया तो समंदर
Some
तलाश कर.
Samandar Talash
I
Kar.
mean, that means don't
Exactly.
stop. Don't stop.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is
Hmm. True.
why at that time जब independence आई we got something at least, और जब वो सब कह के गए. So today I feel that we guys did not obey those rules, and I really feel bad about it. I don't know if you want to say
Ji.
anything in regards to this.
No,
Yeah.
I would definitely like to second what you're saying, Ali, because जैसे मैंने आपसे जिक्र किया, मैं deliberately उर्दू में बात करना चाहती हूँ
नहीं
ताकि
नहीं
हमारे
बिल्कुल.
viewers को समझ में आए
Yeah.
कि मैंने जब अपने जैसे मैं आपको बता रही थी कि मैंने अपने बेटे को होम स्कूल किया और अब उर्दू मुझे उसे सिखानी थी. So I thought I started off with Iqbal's poetry. So you
माशाल्लाह.
because इकबाल की पोइट्री में आप सिर्फ लैंग्वेज नहीं सीख रहे,
हम्म.
आप जिंदगी गुजारने का कोई तरीका हो सकता था. इट्स सच अ होलिस्टिक लर्निंग थ्रू इकबाल्स पोइट्री. सो उसमें आपका फेथ भी रिफ्रेश होता है,
You feel something. अब
स्ट्रेंथन
देखिए
होता
दो
है,
लाइंस बोलने
आपको
के बाद.
विजन होता है,
Yeah.
आपको अपना पर्पस, आपकी आइडेंटिटी समझ में आती है. You see, Muslims and Pakistanis, we're not ordinary people. And that's again a message that I tell all my students when we talk about planning their college degree or college application as well. Each and every individual जो इस दुनिया में आ चुका है, I think उनको ये जानने की जरूरत है कि वो किसी मकसद से पैदा किए गए हैं. There's a reason why they are there. And if they're not able to excel in one field or two or three, that does not mean they're a failure. None of us is a failure here. We just have to identify what our strengths is, what our purpose of life is. एंड जैसे आप वक्त की बात कर रहे हैं, मैं टाइम एंड अगेन इस पर बात करती रहती हूँ. आई थिंक आपको जब अपनी जिंदगी का पर्पस समझ में आ जाए और आप अपनी लाइफ में एक गोल सेट कर लें, तो अब आप देख लें कि आपने शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स क्या रखने हैं.
Hmm.
आपने शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स में सिर्फ वही चीजें रखनी है जो आपको इन द लॉन्गर रन आपके मेन गोल में हेल्प कर रही हैं. और अगर वो उसके लिए कुछ भी आपको सपोर्ट नहीं करी, यू शुड नो व्हेन टू से नो. You should know how to tick them off your list. And when you set your goal, तो जैसे आपने कहा कि जब आपको दरिया मिल जाए, जब आपको पर्सनल विक्ट्री मिल जाए,
Yeah.
आपको समझ में आ जाए कि मुझे ये लेना है, then you start thinking about the public victory.
Yeah.
आपके यहाँ होने का मकसद सिर्फ आपका पर्सनल बेनिफिट नहीं है. You have to learn and make an effort to make, to be a person who can provide benefit to other people around you. आप जहां भी रहें, आपसे दूसरे लोग मुस्तफीद हों. आप जहां से गुजर जाएं, तो वहां पर एक पॉजिटिविटी रह जानी चाहिए और पता चलना चाहिए कि we are different people who are not just self-centered, who think about the community, who believe in building communities as well.
And we have built it. I mean, to be very honest, talking about our artists, everyone. मैं अभी Strings का एक गाना सुन रहा था just before this podcast. I'd like to mention it because these are topics that we guys now need to discuss. Spread positivity. तो उसमें एक बड़ी अच्छी
Yes.
उसने बात की थी कि जी मैं तो देखूंगा तुम भी देखोगे जब रोटी सस्ती होगी और महंगी होगी जान. वो दिन फिर आएगा जब
Hmm.
पूरा पाकिस्तान ऐसा हो जाएगा. Something like that.
Inshallah.
So point being is
Inshallah.
that was in 2011. So
Yeah.
there were crises at that time. एंड देन आतिफ असलम और फिर स्ट्रिंग्स का एक गाना जो कि वो अब हमें खुद कुछ करना पड़ेगा. So it's not like we
Yes.
guys don't know how to speak. Ali Moin Nawazish, Guinness World Record, he's out there. Name a person in Pakistan, Arfa Kareem. We guys are gifted with gems.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we need to, I think, unfortunately, we just could not sustain those people within and,
Yeah.
unite them on one vision and mission. So one message that I understand, like we know your journey now, what you've done, and how can we guys individually contribute towards this? Because देखिए, मैं एक तरीके से कर रहा हूँ podcast, आप एक educational journey में already हैं. I go to different schools. I've been to EDHI Foundation, Alhamdulillah,
Hmm.
Aghosh, and I did not take any money, to be very honest, for all these things. It was just my passion. मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर आपके पास 1,000 रुपए आते हैं तो आप उसमें से 10-20 रुपए निकालें. अगर 2,000 आते हैं तो 100 रुपए निकालें. अगर लाख रुपए है तो 10,000 निकालें. बट
Hmm.
ट्राई टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट द वेल्थ विद इन योर सेल्स फॉर अ पॉजिटिव कॉज,
Yes.
जिसमें एंड डोंट मेक पपेट्स. लाइक आपको किसी को एक फॉर एवर ये नहीं कहने की जरूरत कि हम आपको सहारा दे रहे हैं, अनलेस God forbid, there is a very worse situation. तो वो तो obviously Allah Ta'ala, He is the one who's helping people out, but
True.
develop entrepreneurs. So coming towards this part now about
Yes.
entrepreneurship that we guys did
Yeah.
discuss previously, uh,
Yes.
what would you like to say? There are lots of problems. No one, people do talk about solutions, but फिर जब execution की बात आती है तो साइमा, मैं अगर आपको आज कहूंगा ना कि आए 2 करोड़ पे आप इन्वेस्ट करें, तो आप भी सोचेंगी because of the situation in Pakistan. आपके भी बच्चे हैं. So isn't there a way that because money is not everything? ये जो मैंने verses पढ़े हैं, ये मुझे किसी ने पैसे नहीं दिए इस चीज के, but
Hmm. Hmm.
it can
Hmm.
change a perception of your mind. So guys,
Absolutely.
try to understand that, don't go crazy after wealth. Wealth is important,
Absolutely.
बट जब तक आपका
Absolutely.
परसेप्शन ठीक नहीं है, जब तक राइट ब्रदर्स इन्वेंटेड प्लेन बिकॉज दे हैड अ पैशन फॉर इट. वो क्लर्जीमैन के बेटे थे, एंड दे द ग्रेट अमेरिकन लेजेंड्स, इफ यू रीड दैट बुक, जॉर्ज वॉशिंगटन कार्वर, इसी तरह आपके जाबिर बिन हयान, नो वन टॉक्स अबाउट देयर वेल्थ. People talk about what they did. You know,
Their contribution.
that's the
Yes.
thing. So,
So
yeah, go ahead, please.
exactly. So Ali, this is what I also talk to my, because हम जब college applications पे काम कर रहे होते हैं, प्रोफाइल बिल्डिंग पे काम कर रहे होते हैं, तो हम बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस कम्युनिटी सर्विस पे भी डालते हैं और बच्चों को बताते हैं कि कम्युनिटी सर्विस का क्या रोल है. एंड माशाल्लाह वी एज अ नेशन, आपने जैसे बोला है, कोई भी हैजर्ड हमें फेस करना पड़ जाए तो हम इंडिविजुअली बहुत सारी ड्राइव्स करते हैं, क्लोथ्स ड्राइव्स करते हैं, फूड ड्राइव्स करते हैं. अभी फ्लड आया था, वी वर ऑल आउट देयर हेल्पिंग, इन द
Yeah,
मैक्सिमम, इन आवर मैक्सिमम कैपेसिटी इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी
yeah,
and cash. और मैं उनको ये बताती हूँ कि बेटे, there are ways to help them besides giving them money. So why don't you just take 2 hours out of your week and go
yes,
and spend teaching underprivileged students?
yes,
Go to an orphanage and spend some time there. Go to an old house and spend some 30 minutes there. Talk to the older people as well. This is how you spread positivity. और entrepreneurship की भी जैसे आपने बात की है, तो हमने लोगों को ये आदत नहीं डालनी कि उनको मदद लेने की आदत पड़ जाए. हमने लोगों को इनेबल करना है. हमने
yeah,
उनको कोई ना कोई स्किल सिखाना है. आपको कपड़े सीने आते हैं तो आप किसी एक इंसान को सिलाई करना सिखा दें. आपको अच्छा खाना बनाना आता है तो आप किसी एक और इंसान को खाना बनाना सिखा दें. आप उसको अपने बिजनेस में, किसी स्टोर पे, कहीं अकाउंट्स हैंडलिंग, कहीं मार्केटिंग, कहीं सेलिंग. So these are all basic skills that you can help people to learn so that they become independent as well. ताकि वो खुद से अपने लिए आइंदा के लिए पैसे को कैसे जनरेट करना है, उनको ये वाला स्किल वो सीख लें. So I think this can also be a very good way of contributing and helping others in terms of providing your services, giving them your valuable time, investing in making them learn something. At the same time, I would like to say कि हम कंपटीशन की बजाय अगर कोलैबोरेशन की तरफ अपने माइंडसेट को चेंज करें, तो आई थिंक वंस वी लर्न एंड ट्राई टू कोलैबोरेट, वी कैन all rise together. We can all grow together. So you know something and I know another thing, rather than feeling bad and trying to pull legs for each other and say usko ye kyun aata hai aur mujhe ye kyun nahi aata, and have any negativity. Why don't the any two or three people collaborate together, bring all the skills together, invest them in one project and grow together? So I think this can be
absolutely.
another strategy that can be used.
Absolutely. I would take this as like I would conclude in basically your pointers in which we're saying that try to collaborate with each other,
Exactly.
instead of feeling. And I would like to give people a message. देखें, एंजेलिना जूली का सबको पता है, राइट? कोई भी
Mhm.
पाकिस्तान में, बी इट अ गर्ल और अ गाय, कोई इतना बड़ा कंपेटिटर नहीं होगा शायद जितनी उसकी वर्थ है. Why
Mhm.
did she visit Pakistan? There was one factor behind that, because she wanted to help people out.
Exactly.
ठीक है. तो आप जब बड़े लोगों से अपने आप को कंपेयर करते हैं ना, तो कभी ये भी देखें कि how social they are, how much do they donate, you know, how
Yes, how humble they are.
how humble they are. They are better. I'm not gonna say कि हम लोग नहीं कर रहे, but she's at least better than a lot of people who had a heart and who came all the way to Pakistan to support people and to look into the situation, right? So if they can do that by coming all the way from US, why can't we do it in our country? Like मैं जो Youth Alumni Association platform, the platform that I'm working on is based on Michael Jackson's song, believe it or not, because I was in seventh grade while I was listening to it. Heal the world, make it a better
You're the
place
world.
for you
Yeah.
and for me and for
For
the
you
entire
and for
human
me.
race.
Exactly.
We all are together in
Exactly.
it. Don't talk about religion. We would love to go ahead and shake hands with with a guy or a producer if he or she invites us. But does not matter if he's a Jew or a Christian or whatever it is, because eventually, but we would talk a lot of negativity about what is going on. मैं ये नहीं कहता आप अपना religion भुला लें. Help out people as much as you can. Even Angelina Jolie posted about people out there in Gaza. My heart craves, you know, internally.
Yeah.
But try to, you know, they say that it's better to protect your own feet instead of carpeting the whole earth. जो आप अपनी domain में कर सकते हैं वो जरूर करें. One last thing,
Exactly.
again Allama Iqbal, because he's one of my mentors. मतलब जहाँ पे भी हो आप, अगर आप उनकी शायरी पढ़ें तो एक बड़ा कॉमन शेर है जो सबको ही पता है, एंड देयर इज नो, यू नो, जिस तरह मैंने बड़े सिंपल से वर्सेस कोट किए हैं, कोई बहुत ज्यादा टफ नहीं किया, ताकि जो बच्चे हैं आजकल के वो सोशल टैबू में ये ना कहेंगे ये इकबाल कौन है. हालांकि ही सर अलामा इकबाल हु वाज अ ग्रेट ग्रेट गाय, नो डाउट. तो वो कहते हैं जी, खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे, बता तेरी रजा क्या है.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the end of, you know, from my side what I wanted to actually. मैं तो वैसे कहता ही रहता हूँ बहुत ज्यादा. But Saima, coming towards like last 2 minutes, if you are the prime minister of this country, और अगर आपको वो पावर दे दी जाती है, because हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा solutions की बात करते हैं, and I always write it down. I've got a notepad here. I was in a conference पे गया था. Why? Because you know it's good to write down ideas of different individuals, because eventually it is going to help us out in one way or the other. So what would be your strategies to, you could say, work on poverty or pollution, जैसे ना लाहौर में बहुत सारे लोग कह रहे हैं. Because हम कहना बहुत आसान होता है ना, जैसे क्रिकेट में कोई क्रिकेट खेल रहा होता है तो हम कहते हैं he does not know what to do and what not. But when you are the one who's facing it, then we guys do not actually know what to do in a pragmatic situation. So what is the advice to the youth, and what would be the 2 pointers जिसके ऊपर आप काम करेंगी specifically?
Okay, giving my 2 cents, Ali, I had the chance to think about it when I was selecting my majors in MBA. And I thought, मुझे finance में करना है या marketing में करना है या किस में करना है. And then I thought, human resource is one resource which is surplus, isn't it? So हमारे यहाँ पर human resource is one thing that is there and which is not being utilized properly, which is just में ना investment की जा रही है, ना उनका potential पूरे तरीके से बाहर आ रहा है. So if I would ever have this opportunity, and even now I would suggest to invest in our human resource, may it be by teaching them skills, giving them education, because जो लोग अब उस education के उससे निकल चुके हैं, but they're still humans, they have some other strength in them, they're physically stronger, maybe some people are mentally more stronger. So according to their aptitude, according to their personalities, each and every human needs to be empowered, enabled by learning those skills that can benefit us. आप उनको industrial, सेक्टर के स्किल्स सिखाएं, आप उनको चाहे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में लेके जाएं, चाहे आईटी में लेके जाएं, उसके लिए बहुत पढ़ा लिखा नहीं भी है, मगर अगर किसी का, you have to understand the aptitude of people and invest in them. और उनको education is another thing. जैसे आपको लगता है कि हंगर के ऊपर काम किया जाए, मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज के ऊपर काम किया जाए, मुझे लगता है कि education is everybody's, it should be everybody's birthright. So if you work on the education, and another third thing that I would do is to, encourage our own local products. हमारे अपने कितने resources हैं within Pakistan, उन resources को भी बेहतर use करने के लिए क्या चाहिए, वो human expertise चाहिए. अपने ही लोगों को prepare करें, अपने ही natural resources को utilize करें, और सारा revenue economic development खुद से करें. Let's not depend on anyone, and let's be self-sufficient people who can actually provide to others rather than looking upon others for any sort of assistance and help.
Thank you so much, Saima. It was a pleasure having a discussion with you. We guys did cover your childhood journey, Sorry about the
Thank
word, but
you.
I'm actually not feeling that well today because of
Not a
flu
problem.
and a lot
Not a
of
problem.
smog in Lahore, you know that. So the point is, we did cover that. Then in the middle, we also discussed about why did you become a career counselor, and in the end, as I told you regarding entrepreneurship. So guys, do subscribe to our channel, Youth Alumni Association, and spread the word because that's the least that we guys can do. Forward a message, not because I want any fame or Saima wants it. Alhamdulillah, we've got our lives and we are doing good. But this
Alhamdulillah.
initiative is just for those people, you know, that I personally think can be good assets for this country. And that is the only solution because बाहर से किसी ने नहीं आना, आपको खुद करना पड़ेगा. It's your home. So try to protect it. जिस तरह बहुत सारे लोगों ने कहा था कि मौज भरे या आंधी आए दिया जलाए रखना है, घर तो आखिर घर है
Hmm.
अपना, something like that. I don't remember exactly. My father taught me that. So घर तो आखिर अपना है. That's the last verse. So
Exactly.
guys, thank you so much. Saima, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
Uh,
you so much. Thank you.
all right. It was a pleasure having you in the session. Take care of yourself and yeah, have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you.